So, hello everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's MSA session. And I'll begin with an acknowledgement of country. So, before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of all the lands that we are coming from and their continuing connection to our community. We pay respects to them, their culture, and to their elders, both past and present. So I will be going through the reminders today, and then the panel we will be hosting will be moderated by Saanvi. For those who I haven't met before, I'm Afia. I'm a cloud solution architect at Microsoft, currently working in cybersecurity. And Saanvi, do you want to introduce yourself as well?
Yep. Hi, everyone. My name is Saanvi, and I'm currently the Executive Secretary at UNSW AI Society, which is Australia's one of Australia's first UNSW student artificial intelligence societies.
Thanks for that. So as usual for today, we'll go through a few MSA reminders, then we'll have the panel and finish up with a bit of Q&A. So the first reminder is about the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. If you want to become a student ambassador, we have a link on the screen here. And if you don't know what the program is about, it's designed for students that are passionate about technology and want to share their knowledge with other people. You can develop your technical skills, but it's also a good opportunity to develop your leadership skills because there's community projects involved as part of the program. So if you're interested, highly recommend checking out the link. And I'll go on to the next slide. So we also want to highlight the Microsoft Student Hub. It contains a ton of free resources, some of which are pictured on the slide. A key call out I want to make is to the the GitHub Student Developer Pack. It is something I used myself as a student as well. It contains a bunch of things, including tools, guides for preparing for certifications, courses you can do. So it's a fantastic resource, and I'd highly recommend checking that out as well. And I'll go on to the next slide. All of these sessions that we run are recorded and put onto Michelle's YouTube channel. There's a playlist of them. And we also have technical sessions that we've run from before on the channel as well. So please check out Michelle's channel and like and subscribe. I'll hold for a second and I'll go on to the next slide now. We also have a Microsoft Source newsletter, and you can find the latest Microsoft news, articles, documentation. You can find upskilling opportunities, training materials, sometimes events that are coming up. We'll advertise through the newsletter. So you can scan the QR code to subscribe if you would like to. And almost done. If you would like to keep up with what we're doing as the Student Accelerator, you can scan the QR code on the left to keep up with us on Facebook or on the right for LinkedIn. So I'll just hold here for a second as well. And I'll move forward. And the very last thing, which is you can keep up with our in-person events that we sometimes run on our meetup. So if you scan this QR code, you should get an alert when they're happening. And it's a great way to come and meet us and other students who join the Student Accelerator. Okay, and now we'll move on to the exciting part, the panel. Saanvi, I'll let you take over.
Hi, team. So today we have an AI panel with a few members from Microsoft who currently work in AI. So yeah, I think we'll go forward and we can start asking them to introduce themselves and then go on with a few questions. So Suhas and Lana, would you want to introduce yourselves?
Sure, Saanvi. Hey everyone, happy Friday. First of all, I'm Suhas Rao. I'm a cloud solution architect based in Sydney. In cloud solution architects, we have different focus areas. So the area that I focus on is called app innovation, which is basically the cutting edge of technology. So work a lot with AI. I work predominantly with our financial, customers here in Sydney to design and modernize applications, but I'm also super passionate about how AI can solve some of those complex problems, offload um, repetitive tasks, time-consuming tasks, so that we all can focus on more impactful and creative work. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
Thank you, Suhas. Hello, everyone. My name is Lana Vyshnivetska, and I'm also a cloud solution architect here in Microsoft, based in Sydney, and work with financial industry clients, which are big banks, superannuation funds, insurance companies. So you can imagine the scale. Same team as Suhas, sharing some clients together. I specialize in Azure core and infrastructure, which is a bit different from application side of things and data side of things. So I hope Suhas and I will share different perspectives because we touch different Azure areas. But yeah, we'll be happier to answer your questions and provide an overview how AI changed my role and how I use this on a daily basis.
That's amazing to hear. So let's get started with a few questions. One question I have for, I would say, both of you. Um, you mentioned that both of you use AI quite a bit in your roles. So what is the use of AI specifically for your roles, and how has AI impacted your role specifically at Microsoft?
Sure. That's a really good question, Sanvi. And even before I jump into how AI has impacted, just so I kind of set the page here, right? So a lot of us, we are asked this question, what is AI? And often we try and try to kind of put a definition to it. So I'll try and put my definition to it, the way I see AI, and then I'll also kind of very quickly talk about how AI is impacting my role. So the way I look at AI, right? So our industry, we have gone through massive change. There has been this concept of digitization. So we are trying to get rid of paper, and we are kind of going into this era of digitization. Sorry, Sanvi, you have your hand up. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Oh no, sorry, that was a mistake.
That's all right. All good. In last few decades, right, ever since we are IT industry, right, it has kind of shaped the world to kind of reduce the amount of paperwork and go into digital forms of interaction. One of the key things that has been missing in this digitization is the addition of two key ingredients, which is what AI today is able to do. And these two things are basically intelligence and reasoning. So you kind of take all the automation work that we are doing, you take all the digitization work we are doing, and then on top of it, you add intelligence and reasoning. That is what leads to an AI system. So the way to kind of look at an AI is basically AI systems are those systems that perform tasks requiring that human intelligence, but then it's also grounded based on the data, the algorithms, and also the feedback loops. So that's how I look at AI. Now, in terms of how AI has impacted my role, I would say it has drastically changed the way I work. It has made me a lot more efficient than what I used to be earlier. And I can kind of give you multiple examples, right? So just to start off with, meetings like these, right? So when I talk to customers earlier, I used to always make sure that I'm on top of it, trying to take some notes. That has become so much easier now because I don't focus on trying to take the notes. There is Teams Copilot, which is generating the notes, it's recording the meeting for me, it's doing the transcription, and it's doing it pretty damn good, right? So it's doing a really good job of it. So I'm able to actually focus on bringing up the right next question to the customer. I'm actually able to focus on going through the flow with the customer rather than trying to take the notes. So that's just from the meeting perspective. Now, as an app innovation architect, I write a lot of proof of concepts, right? So This is typically the cutting edge or the bleeding edge side of things. So the first thing I do is I kind of put together a proof of concept. Now, a few years back, before the Gen AI days, right? So I had to go still look up different repositories, different articles, put together a proof of concept, basically churn out some code. This used to take anywhere between a couple of days to maybe a week or so in order to put things together, make sure I test it, debug it, and then present it back to the customer. Now, today, using something called as GitHub Copilot, which probably if an opportunity comes, I'm happy to kind of share a little bit more insight into it. It has made my life so much easier because it helps me in writing that proof of concept. So what used to take 2 days or 3 days now takes me 2 hours or 3 hours to still put that stellar demo together. So yeah, there has been more than one ways in which AI has impacted my role. And then finally, as an architect, right? So just having that brainstorming session, I always felt like, maybe I could reach out to someone like Lana, who is in my team, to kind of brainstorm. But then often I'll find that a lot of us are very, very busy with our own day-to-day tasks. So I need someone that I can brainstorm with. And that's another gap that AI is filling. So yeah, some scenarios that I have seen. I'll hand it over to Lana.
Yeah, thank you. Well said, Suhas. So let me provide you my overview how AI changed my role in the recent year. And I'm looking back to the whole year actually, because I'm using this extensively every day. And for now, I don't think I can live without it. So it changed in two aspects. First of all, it's really good time saving tool. So no customers are the same, but we need to do investigation for them, and they ask tricky questions, and sometimes they ask them for the first time, and Azure is huge. We cannot know everything, literally. Like we know our bits and pieces, but we cannot learn the whole Azure. But our clients can ask different questions from different domains in different areas. And then we need to investigate for them, bring different expertise, and reach out to engineering team. So I start with AI and I ask my Copilot question. Can you please help me to find some documentation or data or internal Microsoft discussion on this matter? And I get pretty good response. And that's a good baseline for me start my investigation and deep dive. But sometimes the funny things, I ask the question and I get really good structured reply and response where everything is answered and put together, and I read this and I think, oh, that's really good. When I scroll to the source of this, guess what? In 90% of cases, it's my emails or documents which I wrote or sent to my other clients, and I forgot about this, completely forgot about this. So the time saving capability with AI tool and copilots, it's just above the cloud and above and beyond. I'm really happy with this. But from the other side, as infrastructure and core architect, I need design solutions for my clients. And when I do this, before it's just imagine you need to design a network component which is hub and spoke or something with express route and connectivity and landing zones in place. Now we need to design to incorporate AI in these solutions. Meaning we need to design the landing zone and Azure in a way where it's possible for our clients to scale with AI. Meaning I need a whole new set of skills and knowledge. So the last year, again, I spent actively learning. So there are different things and aspects in this AI, but overall, I'm very happy with the tool. You're on mute. I can see you talking, but Saanvi, but you're on mute.
Amazing. That's very great to hear. I think also one thing I'd love to know more about is because there's a lot of students on this call, and a lot of them are very interested in AI and how that space works. So we would love to know about the potential roles in the AI space for maybe early careers or students at Microsoft, and they can be both in tech and non-tech, because that like right now AI is being used in almost all careers and in career tracks as well. So if one of you would want to answer that.
Yeah. It's I would kind of shape that question a little bit differently, Saanvi, and the way I look at it, AI is going to be equally important for every role, whether it's a tech role or non-tech role. AI is going to play a significant part in that role. So AI is a must for any role. So there is, yeah, of course, there can be certain roles that predominantly focuses on embracing or sharing AI, like the role that I play, which is, kind of working with our customers and helping them adopt AI. But then if you look at any role in Microsoft or even the larger industry, right? AI is shaping that, and you need to know and be able to embrace and make yourself more efficient using AI. So yeah, that's one quick comment I wanted to add. Lana, do you want to add anything in terms of the rules?
I do agree with this. Regardless of what your role and in what field, AI will be important. So, if you think about STEM roles and even outside software engineering and IT, there will be AI incorporated in your tools, especially if you will be a researcher or do some sort of experiments, chemistry, physics, mathematics. Lots of examples, and also outside STEM as well. So you need to start, not get used to it, but you need to plan your future with this in mind and see what skills you need to learn and start learning them as soon as you can. And if it comes to the, for example, arts, or if it comes to the law or medicine, AI is already a part of this, and it will be even more significant in the next 5 years, seeing where the industry and Microsoft is going.
Yeah, I mean, just to kind of, a short summary, yeah, every role will be an AI role in future. That's how to look at it.
Yep, that's true. Amazing. That's great to know. And I think one really interesting thing I think students would love to know is um, like what AI projects have you guys been working on? And like they can be both maybe at Microsoft or even something that outside that you experiment with the Microsoft tools that they are. And like how have you been using the technologies and learning while like what have you been learning through them as well?
Sure. All right, I can go first. So again, I'm very, very privileged and thankful that, being in the space that I am, one, working for the world's largest AI company, two, being, an app innovation architect, working with our customers on AI adoption. I have been very privileged to work on a lot of different AI projects. Some of the ones that come first to my mind are one is around GitHub Copilot, right? So I think I kind of earlier mentioned this a little bit. So this is something that I'm very closely work with. So developer and development has been in my DNA. Just a little bit of a background. I joined Microsoft about 15 years back as a developer. So I have played the role of a software development engineer. And then I feel that what a developer needs, how they can get better. So I kind of feel that pulse with developers of current era, and that's where I feel something like GitHub Copilot, which is basically an AI driven coding assistant. I wouldn't just call it coding assistant. It does a lot beyond that. Is an amazing tool to really help you with a lot of different ideas, concepts, right? So I'm kind of working very closely on the GitHub Copilot adoption here, and one of the projects that I'm working on is called as GitHub Copilot Adoption Challenge. It's a gamified version of being able to adopt GitHub Copilot. You kind of learn, but at the same time, there's a little bit of a challenge. Every concept within GitHub Copilot is presented to you as a challenge. You kind of go together as a team, and then you score points, and then you kind of make learning fun. So that's a project that I'm working on, and that's where I actually used GitHub Copilot in order to build one of the key components of that particular challenge called as the leaderboard app. What normally would have probably taken a couple of months of development effort was kind of cut short to probably a few weeks. And then that particular tool is being shared with really good feedback from a lot of our customers here in ANZ, also across globally. So that's one. There are a couple of other things that I can kind of very quickly talk about. One is, for an insurance customer that I work with, we are building doc intelligence. So there is this concept of different documentation that keeps coming to them. These can be documents that are scanned, sometimes taken, on their phones. The clarity isn't really great in terms of the overall document, but we still want to be able to do a few things with those claim documents. We want to be able to extract the key fields, so document extraction. The second one is document summarization. Some of these documents have multiple pages of worth of content in it. So we wanted to be able to go through that without having another person or someone else kind of going and creating those summaries, which can be a really long in terms of the time and effort. So we have kind of cut that short, and then being able to ask questions on the document. There could be a specific medical record as part of that claim. So people are now able to go and just ask a quick question, and using AI, we are able to go once the document has been indexed. We go and get that particular specific data pointing to the page, that is basically adding those references, which makes the entire life of the person who's processing the claim a lot easier. And in terms of the impact that it's having on our customer, is that they're able to process these claims, which used to take about, again, 2 to 3 weeks, to a couple of days in order to process those claims. So overall, there has been a lot of efficiency that's been added into that process. The final one is, again, another really good use case that we did with GenAI, especially the model called as GPT-4o real time, which lets folks, it's a multimodal, which can talk to people. It uses voice. So we were able to use that along with another Azure service called as Azure Communication Services, ACS, in order to place a bunch of outbound calls. So these were cold calls, which again would have taken a lot of different agents. Just that same work. Hey, are you interested in attending this specific event? Are you interested in attending this specific event? So we were able to very quickly scale and generate that particular interest from the people by just doing a bunch of cold calls. So these are some projects that I'm working on. I'll hand it over to Lana.
Yeah, amazing. In compare with Suhas, who's really on the bleeding edge of technology and sounds like heavily hands-on, I'm actually solutioning and designing in Azure core and platform foundation level, which is a bit different. And that's great because you will have a different perspective, like how we work with AI and what kind of projects we're running. So, and for me, it's more, again, on a foundation and on the platform level, where we help and I help one of my customers to build Azure AI Foundry, so-called, meaning we are building a baseline for them and a platform foundation which is capable to accept and run all of these AI workloads they will bring later on. So if you think about you are on an edge and work with a customer and deliver all of these amazing things with a GitHub and things, but it should be run somewhere in Azure. And the whole Azure environment should be done the way where it actually can handle this workload because it's growing. So I'm helping to build that solid foundation and a platform level to help and bring all of these AI Foundry and capabilities, which is different from Suhas. He is hands-on, more ideation, solutioning, design, but that's what we do. And later on, when the Azure environment is ready, my customer will be able to bring chatbots, which will interact with the clients and reduce time, which support person normally takes to answer questions, will help to automate some tasks and provide internal automation for users inside the company, not only clients, which I think it's just fascinating and really amazing. That's it for me.
Amazing. That's great to hear. Okay, so I'll maybe do like one last question from my end to both of you. Um, so like I think one final thing that I think students would love to know as well is where do you recommend students to get started with learning about AI? So maybe for someone who like knows what AI is but still hasn't maybe implemented it or is yet to start learning with projects, and are there any resources which Microsoft has for students specifically where they can start getting learned to build these projects and learn more about AI?
Do you want to go first on this, Lana?
Oh no, I'm fine. You can take it. Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think in terms of resources, there are plenty of resources, especially from Microsoft. The one side that I really recommend is the Learn side.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and where we have different learning paths which are broken down by modules. Again, the whole concept of gamification and challenge is there, so you score experience points as well as you complete these learn exercises. And again, there is a lot of content, but one of the key things I'd like to kind of share with the students is if you really want to learn in depth, the best thing to do would be to kind of get hands-on with it. So first is, apply your design thinking. What exactly do you want to achieve out of it? Then shortlist a list of resources, specifically from our Learn site, and then actually go and start implementing it. Start doing, roll up your shoulders, roll up your sleeves, and start, actually writing some code in order to kind of get that right. So that really helps. That's something that I've seen. And also the other thing that I'm seeing when it comes to learning, especially is uh, things are moving really quickly, right? So it's also good to be able to use some kind of an assistant in form of an AI assistant to enable you in that learning journey as well. So make sure that you are having some kind of an assistant. Like if you're a developer or a coder, use GitHub Copilot, right? So make sure that you are using AI in order to aid in your learning process as well.
Yeah. What I can add to this, actually, Microsoft provides some resources, which I'm just about to paste in the chat window. So start with simple GitHub repo AI for beginners. I believe it should be publicly available, so you don't need your Microsoft account for this. And that's actually a really good path to have a look. And also a number of courses are available. For example, Microsoft Learn AI Hub, which is also has different level of complexity. You may have a look on this one as well. So, and also internal, like Microsoft internal, you see if they're available for you with your Microsoft account, but there are other providers like Coursera or maybe like other learning portals where you can start picking up things for AIs. That would be my best advice, probably.
Amazing. That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Suhas and Lana, for answering all those questions. Now I think we will be moving on to the student Q&As. So we have a lot of students who have joined this meeting. So if any of you have any questions or would like to ask Lana, Suhas, or even Afia any questions about their roles, because Afia is actually a recent graduate at Microsoft. So if you would have any questions for them, feel free to come from unmute yourselves or put a question in the chat, and we can ask those questions for you as well.
Yeah, instead of typing, folks can even come off mute and ask questions. Yeah, we are not going to bite, promise.
Yes, feel free to ask any questions.
All question is a good question.
I have a question. Now that AI is sort of being used, I guess so frequently for like, people's personal projects, all sorts of, things you traditionally used to like build your portfolio to like land a role. What kind of things, I guess, you need to work on to show that you can bring real impact to a company now that someone else could just easily build something technical with the help of AI?
That's a really, really good question. So if I understood you correctly, what you're looking for is what could be some of those differentiators that
Mm-hmm.
could set you apart in this current AI era, right? In terms of how well you apply AI. Yeah, I think that's a really good question. The way I would say is working on real live projects, right? Where I know you guys are students, but having some kind of an industry exposure, one. And second is in your free time, right? Look into for example, GitHub, right? If you go into GitHub and look for contributions that you can do into some of these projects, there are plenty of them. Again, I come more from a developer perspective because that's the key area that I focus on. But being able to contribute and show that contribution on whether it's your resume or to the organizations that you're applying for, I think that would be a great starting point that would kind of set you apart.
Yeah, thank you for the advice.
Yeah. Having small GitHub repo which you can share or mention what you've done for AI and your LinkedIn profile will definitely strengthen your position and will give you a good look and distinctive view as a candidate.
I would just also add where you're asking about how you differentiate yourself from all the people who are creating stuff with the help of AI. There is a big distinction between work that has been done entirely by AI and work that has been done with the guidance and experience and expertise of a subject matter expert in the field. So when you just let ChatGPT or GitHub Copilot write all of the code for you, it will write a much bigger program than you would have written on your own because it doesn't know all of the things that might make a program better than another one, and so it tries to include all of the features it can think of. So the code becomes very bloated and it'll run a lot slower than someone else's stuff. And you can also tell when you're looking at that code, there are patterns in there that show it was entirely AI generated. And so people are not going to prefer that code over the code of someone who has applied their expertise to it and used a Copilot to just build it faster. I think you can use it really, really well to skill up as a coach, as a trainer, as a way to view problems from a different perspective than you have already seen them. So for example, say, can you show me 5 different ways to solve this problem? And then maybe explain those to me so that I can, think outside the box of what I would normally do, and then maybe use something I wouldn't have normally used with the help of the Copilot, but it's explained it to me. But I have chosen which things to put in rather than letting it just build in this massive block of stuff. So human in the loop is super, super important with AI. What you bring to it is the differentiator. You can use the Copilot to make you go faster, to make you think in different ways, but don't let it do your work for you because that will be the same as everyone else is submitting and it'll just be like, meh.
I think one important consideration to this, if you don't have a true knowledge in the area and solely rely on AI responses, sometimes you're not learning from AI responses. Meaning, if you will be asked a question which is slightly outside this AI swimming lane, you might not be able to answer these because it's a true knowledge. But if you will demonstrate you have a solid background and skills and knowledge you learned yourself, that's definitely a bonus, and that what will distinguish you from the people who solely relying on AI and providing a beautifully curated answer, but will not be able to answer additional questions or slightly like go outside that particular response.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Amazing. Do we have any other questions from anyone, any other students in the call?
I had one question. I saw that early on you mentioned something about Codes, and I was wondering how we apply for that and what exactly the process is for that.
Sorry, what was the mention about?
Codes. It was in the chat, so I was just wondering.
Codes is a program that they will open at a certain point in the year, but I'm not sure when they open it. So you just have to watch out for it, I guess. And then when you see people start posting about it on LinkedIn, then you can sign up for it. But I don't know when that will come, I'm afraid.
Okay, thank you anyway.
Do we have any other questions?
Well, do you know what? I do have another program called Code Without Barriers, which is similar to Codes. I will post a link for that in the chat. Sorry, carry on with the other question.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I just wanted to know, to get into Microsoft, what skills and coding languages would you recommend we should learn?
Very good question. And again, what role are you looking at, Joshua?
I'm looking for a developer role. I just want to be coding. Could be front end, could be back end.
Yeah. So again, having been previously in the panel for developers, right? So the biggest thing that we look for is logical reasoning and problem solving, not a specific language or a technology. And I'm sure these days haven't been in the developer, panel, but I'm sure these days some of the other key things that you'd be looking for is also being able to effectively use AI. One of the key things that I always say is, right, so the great engineers will always stay valuable, and AI kind of just amplifies them, right? So that's the key thing. So as long as you can solve the problems, so key things to focus is on, data structures, algorithms. Those are still the fundamental core concepts. If you're really, really good at it, you're good at problem solving. And of course, having that right aptitude, I think you will be able to, get into Microsoft. And other thing is, everything else can be learned, right? I mean, today language, especially using AI tools, is not such a big barrier. People can pick up different languages, and kind of, as long as they have the concepts, they can do it. Lana?
Yeah, look, it definitely, if you want to apply for the role in Microsoft, especially in a software engineering space, it's definitely will help to get yourself familiar with the Microsoft ecosystem, because you will be working in this ecosystem. So knowing our products, knowing our offering, developer tools, not in details, but be aware about Microsoft software engineering ecosystem we're building together, and including GitHub and everything. That definitely helps, because it will make you well-rounded and give you some good hints. But I agree with Suhas. It's more about your attitude and ability to solve problems. So it's about mindset in the first place, not a particular language. And correct me if I'm wrong, Suhas, but if you will be given a chance to attend an interview in Microsoft, no one will be asking about your .NET things or details. You will be asked to solve a problem. And that's the skill you need to demonstrate. The right mindset, ability to solve a problem, logical reasoning, attitude, ability to think out of the box, critical thinking. That's what is truly required.
100%, Lana. So it's how you approach, a problem and how you solve it. That's what we would be looking at.
Yeah. But not the .NET or C# coding skills or knowing language details. No.
Okay. Thanks. Just a follow-up question. Would you know what the interview process would be like if I were to apply to an internship or grad role at Microsoft?
It's
Or-
changing with the time, if I may start like first, Joshua. It changed with the time, and look, basically, you go to the career portal, you submit your resume, and if you will be shortlisted, the person from recruiting team will reach out to you, and they actually give you a hint how the interview process and recruiting process will look like. They will be very transparent about how many stages, what interview will be, and like what you need to bring to this interview process. But like if you want us to give you a particular details, what questions will be asked, or probably definitely like I don't know, I cannot answer this.
I think that Afia has been an intern and has been a grad hire, so perhaps she would share something quickly. Afia?
Yeah. So echoing what Lana said, your application process would depend on your role. I can tell you what I experienced, which was after my online application, I had 2 different interviews with 2 managers that my team has. And this is as a cloud solution architect. My interviews had mostly behavioral questions. There was some technical component in that I discussed a project I worked on, what I would do differently. I screen shared some of my code. But this varies from team to team. From talking to other interns and graduates, I learned that some of them got fairly detailed guides on what their application process will be like, outlining what each stage will be, what's expected of them. So I know the answer of it depends isn't very satisfying, but what I mean to say is you will be told what you will be required to do. I think the main thing to prepare is to be able to explain why you're interested in the role and what you bring to it. So I think connecting with people who work at Microsoft on LinkedIn, trying to get an understanding of what their role is like is a really good step in that direction, regardless of what role you're applying for. I hope that helps.
Yes, that definitely helps. That gives me insight into what Microsoft is like. So thank you so much.
But the most important, you need to bring your true self.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
I think that's all we have time for today. Thank you everyone so much for coming. And thank you to our amazing panelists for attending today. Thank you to Saanvi for hosting the panel. I found it really insightful and I learned a lot. So thank you everyone. If you do have a moment, students, before you go, we also have this survey still open to collect your feedback on how you're finding these sessions, any topics you would like to see. We do review the comments we get each month and try to bring that content to you. So please fill it in if there's something in particular you would like. And that's all from me today. Hope to see you next month.
Thanks all. It was lovely talking to you, everyone. Wish you all the very best. So yeah, thanks all.
Thank you, everyone. And please reach out on LinkedIn and feel free to add myself to your network. Happy to help.
Thank you. Thank you so much both. And also, just adding in that if any of you would like to join UNSW AI Society as well, I've added a link in the chat as well. So feel free to look at our website and join us on LinkedIn, Discord, or any of our other platforms.